Yo, what's going on, Nomads and Drifting Podcast listeners? I'm Brian.
And I'm Monica.
And welcome to the Backspace Nomads, where we share our nerd for gaming, movies, and all the dork in between. This is episode 79 of the podcast. It's November 11th. Let's start the show. All right, Monica, last week, our question of the week for the listeners was, what is your biggest gaming disappointment? And we got a few responses. We're going to read them off here. These are our favorite ones. Minoki King, he says, hands down, the Goat Simulator. How it got to be so popular is beyond him. I'm not familiar with the Goat Simulator. Are you? Apparently, it's not that popular.
Really? You never? I don't. I think I actually own it. I definitely have played it, so I must own it. But you just ran around as a goat and you rammed into things and you had a really long tongue. You don't remember this? It kind of started off like a bunch of the stupid simulators. I feel like it was maybe there were ones before that, but I feel like that's a pretty prominent one.
Not for me.
I will say I agree. I don't think you're missing out on anything. I think that it was just kind of novelty, and then I feel like a bunch of people picked it up for the giggles.
Yeah.
And I don't remember there being a lot to the game at all.
Well,
literally just ran around and headbutted things.
Wish I would have gotten none of those giggles. It sounds amazing. Jesse also replied to the question. I was real excited for Battlefront till I wasn't. The Battlefront series, I was actually super hyped for. Turns out not that good. They really did a disservice to the fans. It was like the remake of it. I remember like how pumped up I was, like playing Luke Skywalker and my modern graphics, and then it just it's pretty awful, Monica.
Yeah, I never played it, so I guess we got to switch off on these ones. I never had to deal with the disappointment there.
All right. What about you? What's your biggest disappointment in gaming?
Well, once upon a time when no, I'm just kidding. I will try to keep this somewhat short, but I do have a story here. All right.
Okay. Buckle up.
So children, I need you to all sit down and listen to me. There was a game, I know I've talked about it on this cast. I'm positive I have, because it's the biggest burn I've ever experienced on Steam. I purchased this game. It was like a pre-ARC, before ARC came out. And it was all about dinosaurs, and it was called Stomping Lands. And it was in early access. And I was just in love with this game. And not only that, I bought it and I was really good at it. Like unnaturally good at it. And it was really buggy. So I must have just really known, like I was just really good with this buggy game. And it got to the point where at the peak, plenty of people were actually logging onto the servers. And when I would log on, people would say, oh my God. And I think my name was the old unicorn asshole. That used to be my handle. And people would be like, oh my God, unicorn asshole's here. And I got to play with like some of the best other players in the game. There was this guy V that was really well known, and he and I became buds, and he would message me on Steam and say, dude, my girl is fucking killing me. And he would bitch about his girlfriend to me, thinking I was just some guy, and tell me all these horrible things. And I was just like, yeah, man, that sucks. You want to play? And we just go on, rip shit up. Okay. I was excellent at this game. People were like, I'm better than you. We'd have like fight, like battles, and I'd always win. I always won. It was insane. So
you had the biggest stomp out there.
Dude, I had the biggest stomp. I was on the T-Rex, you know? And
oh my God.
But after buying this game and after investing a lot of time into it and getting really good to the point where I was like, finally, I'm a winner at something, guys. Like, I'm really good at this. They shut it down. They stopped with updates. They stopped development completely. They went completely silent on the team. I mean, it went away. And then everyone was like, we love this game. What happened? Where the hell is the development team? Where is everybody? The guy that was doing the artwork was like, I haven't even been paid yet.
Oh.
The guy that did the Kickstarter on it took the money and ran with it. And they took it off Steam. And the day they took it off Steam, he put out this tiny little update. It was like fixed one bug. So they put it back on Steam just so he could still keep capitalizing. It was the worst, early access experience I've ever had. And so it started off being such a great experience, and it became the biggest gaming disappointment of my life. I was going to be somebody, Brian.
Oh, man. I'm sorry I took the money and ran like an all-American usually does. This guy lives the capitalist dream, and I guess the stomping grounds went extinct, huh?
Oh, my God. Jeez.
I've been saving that joke for the last 5 minutes ever since you brought this thing up. It felt so good to get that one out on air. Whew, what a relief for me.
Okay.
My biggest gaming disappointment, I've brought it up on the cast before. I think we did a episode, had to be like a really early episode, like episode 1 through 5, where my biggest gaming disappointment was The Division from Ubisoft. I never loved a game more than The Division, only to be let down so hard. I'm a big like looter shooter type of guy. I love grinding for gear and stuff, and this was like the perfect mix of the worlds. I love third person shooters, and then all of a sudden you get to kind of the late game, and it's like Ubisoft took everything you loved and then just like punched you in the face over and over and over, and you had to play through this horribly buggy experience where this world felt so big and so vast, like it was the entirety of New York City. All of a sudden it just felt very, very small, and you were closed into this tiny place they called the Dark Zone where you PvP'd. And it just like, I couldn't tell you how many hours I feel like I wasted grinding and loving this game just to absolutely have it like shredded. That's the moment that I fell out of love with Ubisoft. Me and Ubisoft, we had an on and off relationship. It was a college fling. We loved each other. And that was the moment where I knew it was never going to work out for us, Monica. It's just The Division. I can't.
At least, even though that one didn't work out with you, at least you've got sweet pickup lines like, I'm a looter shooter type of guy.
I usually, so many times I struck out at the bar, and if only I knew I had this, I'm a looter shooter type of guy. Girl,
I'm a looter shooter type of guy.
You look like you could use a looter and a shooter, huh?
Yeah. Oh my God. The next time we're at a convention, we got to get some of our single friends to go up and say that kind of stuff to people.
I'm just gonna be like, I'll be happy for them because 100% is gonna work, but then I'll just be sad. I'm like, I had so much opportunity within me and I didn't know. I just didn't know. So thank you guys for your responses to the question this week. Make sure you drop these in the YouTube comment sections. You can tag us on Twitter to answer these questions. The next one will be at the end of this podcast. If you want to stick around to the very end for that. But let's get into the news for the show. We have a follow-up article to a couple of casts ago. We were talking about a CSGO player who was caught live on stage cheating, and his official punishment has come down. This is from Polygon, reported by Owen S. Good. The Counter-Strike Global Offensive esports pro who was caught cheating over this weekend has been handed a 5-year ban by the Esports Integrity Coalition. Nikhil Forsaken Kumawat was caught using and even trying to delete an aimbot hack during this past week at the Extremes Land Zowie Asia CSGO 2018 tournament in Shanghai. The moment was captured on video and posted to Twitter. Our boy, Kumawat, finally came down. The hammer got dropped on him, Monica.
Why are you saying it correctly? When we were planning this out, we couldn't say it right, and we kept saying kumquat, and you're just actually saying it correct now.
Yeah, I feel like
when did we become professionals here, Brian?
Oh, I'm sorry. My man Kumquat over here. What do you think? 5-year ban is enough for Kumquat?
Now I don't even remember what his name is. God. So for 5-year ban, at this point, I think it's just basically, how old can you be and be in esports?
I feel like you age out of it at like 24. I know a
Yeah.
couple other people who are competing still. They're like the elite players. And it's almost like
It's
that.
rare.
It's very rare. It's almost like they're just in the system already, and so it's
Yeah.
easier to keep them going than it is to find new talent.
So I feel like they gave him 5 years, but what they really said was like, if this was a prison sentence, they said, all right, you're 25, 60 years of prison. What are
Yeah.
you going to do at the end of that? You
Yeah.
know, like, okay, I don't want out. I think he's retired. They retired him. And I think that they should have, they were talking about a lifetime suspension, and, what worse experience than getting a lifetime suspension from the Esports Integrity Coalition. It really sounds like, I feel bad because I love esports and I feel passionate about esports. I get into them. I am excited watching them. I've watched esports at bars. It's fun.
Yeah.
But to hear Esports Integrity Coalition sounds like the hall monitor.
I know. It feels like
sounds so nerdy. Like,
it's horrible. It's like our moms got together. It was like, we can't just have this for the kids. We got to do something about it. We got to form something. Like, this is
it's like mad mothers against drunk driving.
The EIC has come down. I don't know who named this, but it is, I feel like Kumawat here, he did get like handed down a lifetime sentence, except this is almost funnier than an actual lifetime sentence because they're like, no, but like you come back, in like 5 years, you're only gonna be like 29. You're fine. The scene isn't gonna move on. CSGO
and
still
everyone
gonna be here.
Will want you.
Yeah,
everyone will want you. Teams will definitely want to play with you. Well, you know what, Kumawat, Forsaken, you were very naughty.
Yeah.
And even though we loved the old scramble that we saw, that last ditch effort to stay in the game, by trying to, rip the keyboard and delete the files before the guy that's literally looking at them can do anything with them. I'm proud of your last attempt there. I hope you've learned your lesson. But let's be real. I mean, this isn't going to be the last gaming doper that we see here.
No. And honestly, we found an article for young Kumquat here that he could actually come back at the age of 29 and be a real gamer again.
Oh, it's true. I forgot.
We found this article that covers it's from this company called Hums. It's a headset that turns your brain into an overdrive.
Wait. Don't say. Oh, you told.
Oh,
I feel like I gotta set this up. All right, I want you to think about your brain. All right, you need to think about your brain, and just think about, it's like sloshing around in there.
So, yeah, is your brain sloshing around? Is that really a thing?
Everyone's brain's just sloshing around. It's little neurons firing snaps. Oh man, we're thinking, right? You're thinking about it. Now imagine a headband that could make you think about it harder.
Man, you should have been a scientist. Where'd you go wrong in life? Who hurt you so you had to become a podcast host with that kind of scientific insight? All right, let me read this dumb article. Hum has a headset that can make you smarter, at least temporarily, by stimulating that part of your brain that is responsible for learning and memory. This is biohacking and can help you play games or esports better, or otherwise simply improve your cognitive performance. The Berkeley, California-based Hum has created a headband that uses electrical stimulation to deliver electrical signals to your frontal cortex. No, it's not a frontal lobotomy. I feel like that's like a LOL joke at the end of that. It goes on to say the team at Hum thinks of it more as a biohacking or helping get your cognitive edge through technology. Monica, what do you think? What do you think about the old the Hum band here?
All right, so some of our listeners are going to be too young to remember this, but we can't forget history. All right. And
Veterans Day. Lest we
You know,
forget.
yeah, let us not forget. So I'm just gonna remind some of you about a certain product that came out onto the market years ago. And for those of you guys that weren't around when it came out, I'll be teaching you about this, okay?
Okay.
And it was in order to get amazing abs, okay? It was a belt, and you put this belt on, and it electrically stimulated your ab muscles. So all you really had to do was wear this belt, and it jolted your abs, and it was just going to give you this six pack, right? Just
Ooh.
oh, and it didn't work. Okay,
No,
it didn't work. It didn't give you abs. I know because I bought it. It was a dummy.
of course
Okay,
you did. Of course
I wanted the
you bought
abs.
this.
I wanted abs, and I didn't want to have to do anything. You
Yeah.
know. And the reality is, guys, you're not. You know, I'm sorry, Kumawat, but like, you're probably not going to come back. Don't buy this product. Don't buy this product. There is
Let me ask
no
you about
way this
this.
thing is. It's like. I mean, I guess you could say like a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
you know, helps gameplay. It keeps you more. I mean, maybe electrocuting your head will
I
help
think
in
you're hating
some
on the hum.
capacity.
That you're hating on too much. This thing's amazing, Monica. This thing is like
Oh,
Cyberpunk 2077. It's come to
okay,
life. This is our first step. You know, you're gonna be
okay.
sitting there. I'm an older, esports professional myself. I get invited to fancy tournaments, and like sometimes I can't keep up with these young bucks. They're just out there. Now I get to put on this headband, and I get connected to the world.
Hmm.
Helps me, aids me. This is just like me using a cane, except for esports. I don't see what's
You know
so
what's
wrong with
interesting?
it.
You know what's interesting about this is
Tell
this
me.
used to just be called shock therapy, and they'd show it in films as this really disturbing practice, and it's still used occasionally, but it's shock therapy.
I mean, maybe, but like, do you want to be a winner or not? What length are you willing to go to? Do you think the hum headband, this biohacking, do you think this is a form of cheating?
Oh my gosh. No, I don't think it's a form of cheating. And you know what? If it's going to make me a winner and I can finally become if I can become a scientist or a doctor because I strap this thing onto my head, I guess I'll spend the $20.
This thing's only $20.
I don't know. I hope
Oh,
it's
I just
$20.
got so excited.
That's how much the ab belt thing costs.
What do you
So.
think would happen if you put the ab belt on your head?
So I might as well. I probably still have it at my mom's house somewhere. I should call her and say, "Hey, can you find that stupid ab belt?
She's gonna
I
say,
gotta. I'm gonna become a scientist, Mom.
your
I
mom's
need
gonna
to
say she
strap
has
it
to
to my
find it.
head."
She's gonna like, I have to find it while she's wearing it. Like, yeah, I think it's still laying around here somewhere.
Yeah, she's wearing it, still waiting to get abs for 15 years.
I think you're living in the past. We're in a whole new world. I just don't think you're ready to accept it. We've moved on from the basic ab. This is simulating. This isn't trying to form brain muscles. You're simulating them now. This is getting in there.
Okay, you know what? Whatever. Well, let's figure out how much this thing costs and we'll test it.
Okay.
Depending on how much it costs, we'll buy one of these.
It fits in our budget. All right. We run a tight ship here at the Nomads.
A tight shit. Okay.
We have the tightest shit here at the Backspace Nomads. It's all the coolest.
I'll play one game and then I'll put it on. Today I had a little bit of a difficulty with the puzzle game. And maybe if I had been wearing this headband and been electrocuting my temples, I would have been able to beat it. So,
all right, I'm ready.
All right,
let's move on to the actual hackers of the gaming world. A couple articles coming out that the real world is finally starting to crack down on kind of the online world because it's starting to have big ramifications. This article comes from Verge, reported from Addie Robinson. The man behind a spree of gaming network cyber attacks has pleaded guilty. A man who helped orchestrate attacks on several gaming platforms and then abruptly disappeared in 2014 pleaded guilty in a California court yesterday. Utah resident Austin Thompson admitted to being a member of a hacking group called the Derp Trolling, which carried out a series of high-profile DDoS attacks in late 2013 as part of a campaign against a Twitch streamer. Thompson was charged with damaging protected computers, which carries a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. He will be sentenced March 2019. Goes on to state that they also at DDoS attacked games like League of Legends, Dota 2, and Blizzard's Battle.net profile platform. What do you think about gaming companies kind of starting to go after, or I guess the government going after these gaming hackers for like DDoS attacks and stuff?
I really just feel like I need more insight from the Esports Integrity Coalition. I need to know how they feel about it.
Yo,
Like,
the coalition is not on this case yet, and they're
okay, all
asleep.
right. Well, all right. I think it's great. I love that these people are being sought out
Yeah.
and punished. I
Okay.
really do think that. But I think the real travesty here is that they're called their hacking group derp trolling.
Yeah.
And can you guys come up with something that doesn't sound like you're 14 years old?
No.
Please just come up with better names.
You don't like the name derp trolling?
No.
I think it's fantastic. It's
You like it?
it's a side of
I think we're just fighting tonight.
it's a side of the times, Monica. What do you want them to be called? Like, you know, people gamers for DDoSing coalition. Like, what do you want?
I
This
want
is a young
them.
hit name.
I want them to have something mysterious and sound, I mean, the person that they were attacking was called Phantom Lord. They can't have something better than derp trolling. I don't know.
I love it. I love derp trolling. I'm kind of, it's
You're
weird.
just saying that because you're scared of them.
I'm not okay. I'm not gonna, put that out if I'm not scared of derp trolling. I respect their capabilities. You guys, are very smart at what you do, and I'm sad that you're getting attacked for all this. In reality, a lot of these people, I think they view DDoSing as kind of harmless fun, and then like really just annoying someone without thinking further past like what you're actually doing to someone. When you're DDoSing streamers, you're affecting their personal income. When you're DDoSing like League of Legends and Dota 2, not only are you preventing a lot of people from playing these games and enjoying their day or whatever it is, you're costing these companies like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for this, because not only do they have to pay people to try and fix it, they're losing out on like revenue from microtransactions and all that. So I'm actually shocked that like how long it's taken for something to get through the courts to kind of like throw some weight down on these types of people.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. Well, you know what? No, I'm not that surprised. Just because the court system doesn't really know what to do with a lot of these situations,
Mhm.
and it's going too fast. I mean, how long has swatting been around, and they still fall prey to that?
Yeah.
It's hard for it's hard for our legal system to come up with the creative nature of our derp trollers,
Damn. I just love that there's a legal proceeding where like a judge who went to, law school, was a lawyer. This is like the highlight of his career. He has to read out the term derp trolling in a courtroom.
Do you think they had that in mind when they named it? Okay, maybe I'm
Oh,
around.
they're playing like 4D chess over here. You're just like drawing checkers on a paper towel.
When we ultimately all go to prison, at least the judge is going to have to say derp trolling at least 14 times.
Yes, they're geniuses. Some more in the crackdown coming down on gamers. This news story comes from ABC Australia.
This is crazy.
This is kind of crazy. When the makers of Grand Theft Auto raided your house inside the global video game Crackdown. On the morning of September 25th, Christopher Anderson, who is known by multiple online aliases, had his home searched and some of his computers seized. The action was taken by lawyers acting on behalf of Take-Two Interactive, the parent company of Grand Theft Auto 5 maker Rockstar Games. Mr. Anderson's assets has been frozen by the federal courts and saved for reasonable legal and living expenses. This one's huge for the gaming industry. This isn't just, someone attacking other people with like DDoSes on a personal level. This guy was just making kind of mods for a game, some of them more malicious than others, and some of them more cosmetic. What do you think about the gaming companies Take-Two coming down on young Anderson over here?
Let's not call him young Anderson. For one, he was in his 40s.
Years young.
40 years young. It's tough.
Yeah.
This one's tough. Because it feels a little bit like, don't download music. You wouldn't steal from your grandma's house. Don't steal music. You know, those old like commercials that they'd say, and it was like, look, everyone's kind of doing it, you know? It feels a little bit strange to me that they would find this person that's not necessarily only making, you know, malicious modifications. But it also feels strange to me that this hasn't happened sooner.
Yes.
I want to say this.
Okay.
You know the game Roblox? And I don't know if we've ever actually talked about it on this cast because we specifically were uncomfortable giving it too much attention. But there were modifications added to Roblox, which is a children's game.
Mm-hmm.
And these modifications resulted in, you know, a child's mother coming up and seeing that her character was being invited into a party. I don't want to go into in depth. It just feels bad to even say, but she was playing and there was a lot of naked bodies and her character's body was being forced to participate in some type of party of indecent nature. Whoever made that, I do think should, you know, have to deal with some type of repercussions.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's out of line to say that these people should deal with repercussions. I don't know if showing up and saying, that's it, we're taking your monitor cord, like I'm having flashbacks to my mom here, is the way to do it, though.
See, I think this whole thing from Take-Two is just absolute shenanigans. We have been dealing with people who create hacks for games as long as there's been online gaming, and the only thing that we've ever done to them is like patch the stuff out, fix the code, make it so they can't do that. Going along on parallel tracks with those types of people are the people who've made mods to games for like reskinning. I myself, you know, I used to play a lot of Valve games back in the day, like on CS Source and CS 1.6. I used to, you know, remake skins, recolor skins, give them to my friends, release them. It was a lot of fun for me. This is what they're talking about. And here's why Take-Two is absolute bullshit in what they're doing. This is from the article that we were citing earlier. In its 2018 financial report, Take-Two wrote that cheating programs could negatively impact the volume of microtransactions or purchases of downloadable content. And what do they mean by these cheating programs? Things like giving players a fun new costumes like Superman or Iron Man, like reskinning it so you can be Spider-Man. This is all about downloadable content that these people are giving out free skins, and this is affecting Take-Two's bottom line. And they are not going to put up with a community that can make these skins and models and give them away for free when they could be making money off of it, which they have every right to do and make money off this stuff. But to like have it under the guise that these people are just like negatively impacting the community and really going after this guy, like I don't buy it at all.
Yeah, you know, in most situations like this, you can follow the money, especially if it's dealing with a corporation. You can just you just follow the money, because there's money in it somewhere, and that's typically what's stemming the response. This does feel unfortunate. Like I said, I do think that there are situations where when people are creating, you know, malicious code, like that's a different experience to me. For this particular person, it feels like those warnings, like, you know, like I said, you wouldn't steal a TV from the store. Don't download a movie. You know, it feels corny like that. Yeah,
I'll take a free TV any day of the week, Monica.
So I don't know, Mr. Anderson. You know, you young buck. Good luck with your situation. That's all I can say.
He's
I
gonna
feel
save
bad.
us all from the Matrix. He's gonna save us all.
Yeah.
All right. One last article for the news. My favorite one of this week, probably the most interesting one to me. China and gaming. As China markets start to look more tempting to developers, they're starting to anger fans. This article comes from Polygon, reported by Owen S. Good. Again, Owen S. Good is out there this week reporting articles. Uh, our assets in Rainbow Six Siege will be toned down to conform with Chinese censorship requirements as the game gets ready to expand into Asian markets. The news and Ubisoft's rationales have alienated many fans in the multiplayer shooter. Developers vow that the changes being made will have no impact on the gameplay. That said, there will be adjustments made to our maps and icons to ensure compliance, Ubisoft Montreal has said. They do this to streamline the development process because they don't want to have a Western version of the game and an Eastern version of the game to develop for. What they're changing on the maps comes down to things like blood being splattered over the environments, kind of sexual neon signs being changed that are not explicit sexual content, but like a neon sign of a girl on a stripper pole. And then also gambling, symbols, things like gambling machines and roulette tables, those things being modified and taken out of the game. What do you think, Monica, about China and them ruining our beautiful Rainbow Six Siege experience?
Who cares? Boo hoo.
Oh,
I just like, who is really paying attention to that neon sign?
me.
Who is really paying attention? You were not.
Not like,
Were you standing in Rainbow Six Siege? You were standing in front of looking at the neon sign of the stripper on the pole.
I would
Come
never
on.
I would never stand in front of it and look at it because I'm a classy man and I don't go to strip joints. But now that it's gone, yeah, I'm like, oh, that's different. Wait, why is that different? Why are these, free expression of artistic values being trampled upon for this Eastern restriction? This is a slippery slope, Monica. This is a water, this is kind of the dam right here. These strippers on poles and these gambling machines, these are the dams that are holding our content uh, from being just stripped down to what the Chinese government wants our games to be.
I almost, maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like a lot of this, if it had been switched over and there had been no announcement or there had been no tracking of it, I feel like people would barely even recognize the changes.
I think
Now maybe the gambling, yeah, I mean, some of the settings might be different, but they changed the maps or they introduced new maps. I mean, they could have just done an entire refresh. Well, I guess they wouldn't have wanted to do that. That would have been more work. But I don't know. To me, it feels like a situation where, they're not going to whittle this down and turn it into Minecraft, So I just don't see the concern. Are you really missing out on blood splatter that much?
I don't think it's missing out on blood splatter, right? I think it's more so that the Chinese government has a very restrictive policy when it comes to content and consumerism. They have like a board of entertainment and tourism and stuff that makes sure that all the stuff that it goes out to the public won't veer the society in a negative way. And I do not want, as a Western consumer, where I value that companies have all kinds of freedoms to make whatever type of stuff they want. And they do get a rating based on the stuff they make, but they have an opportunity to release it. I think this is a first step, or this isn't even a first step. This is a continuation of what's been going on in the gaming industry. Blizzard is notorious for not having stuff in their game and holding off on content and taking it away altogether because they didn't think it would be approved in a Chinese market. A Chinese market, which the rules.
But Blizzard creates really engaging content still.
Yes, but for the longest time they wanted to put a panda race into World of Warcraft, and they weren't able to because they're going back and forth with the Chinese government because the panda is a revered icon of the society, and they didn't want to have it to where a character could be, or a panda could be hit by a sword or like attacked. Like they don't want that type of stuff there. And so these rules that they make and that they set up are very vague. They're very, very vague. And while Blizzard still does make content and games that are very compelling, they don't all the time have, it's like they're shackled now. They can only do so much, and everything they can that they're doing now, they don't get to fully explore how they want to. They have to always keep it in the scope of these vague rules from the East affecting their bottom line.
I still think that that's a decision that the company is making, though. And I understand that that's a financial decision
Mhm.
because in order to, have two releases of the same game, would complicate everything. But I don't, I don't know. You feel passionate about this?
Yeah, it's very passionate. I just feel that once you start limiting people artistically, that can seep down into everything. It's not just imagery; it can get into the storytelling, and we can't do this and that because we don't know if this is going to be approved over there. And it's fine that like a company makes a financial decision, like we're going to go this way because we're going to make this type of money. Uh, but at what point do people in the West who like have strong, like I have a very, I'm very thankful for the liberties that we are given to do anything artistically that we want, within range of certain scopes. Um, why, as a consumer, what am I going to stop buying Blizzard games? Come on, like they're amazing games. I'm going to be missing out on these cool experiences because the Chinese government are a bunch of fucking tight asses. Like, get out of my face with that nonsense. I don't want to have to
Don't
deal with
you
that as a consumer.
don't you think though? So the companies that are going to be the most impacted by this are going to be the larger organizations. Those are
Mhm.
the ones that are most concerned. So don't you think by them following those restrictions, I almost feel like it opens up more market for indie that stay local, that stay in the States, that promote in the States. If they water down, I don't know. I feel like it will naturally balance out because I feel like if they water games down too much, it just opens it up for that type of content to be created within the indie market.
I feel like you're hitting below the belt. How you gonna bring up the indie argument? You know I love indie games. How you gonna hit below the belt like this? You ain't
I'm
fighting
not
fair,
hitting below
Monica.
the belt.
You're not fighting fair.
I'm just having a discussion. I'm just having a discussion.
All right, you are right. The indie developers will have an opportunity to make these types of games in their um, own right, but our indie developers don't necessarily have the opportunity to make AAA games like big shooters with all these high-end graphics, which I enjoy.
Hmm.
There are also artists and such within the big companies now that are restricted, and that's not fair to those people that they don't work at a developer. A lot of people have families, large families they got to take care of, and they can't go to some bootstrap indie development
Are you
house.
trying to? Okay, wait. I went to Indies, and now you're going to like children needing to be fed.
Yeah, I love the kids, Monica. This is known about me. Don't act like this is new. I love the kids. I love the families. I want to make sure
Oh
that we're
my
taken care of.
gosh. Oh my gosh. You said I hit below the belt. You hit my shin.
Oh, yeah,
You just kicked my shin. You went below the knee.
I'm ready. Okay. I'll
I
fight
don't
as
know.
low as I need to.
I think that these things have a way of balancing out, and I just don't. I don't personally feel super passionate about this topic because I think that the indie realm just anytime something becomes too boring, too washed of creativity, of unique assets that might have funneled more traffic to the game. I think that just allows for smaller development houses to pick that up because they're not having to follow the same rules. That's how I feel.
You're such a heartless capitalist.
Yeah, well,
All right, I guess we're just gonna have to, wrap it up there and just kind of agree that I was right on this topic and that Monica was wrong once again. It's just one of those things that happens on the Backspace Nomads podcast. It's fine. It's fun.
yeah.
Well fought, Monica, but today I was the victor.
I'm so confused. I guess I'm just going to go ahead and agree with you. What was me?
Man, maybe you should email any developer and ask them to see if you're right or not. All right, that's going to do it for episode 79 of the Backspace Nomads podcast. Our question of the week: if you could become a #1 esports pro via biohacking, what part of your body would you give the most power and why?
No, it would give you the most power.
Give you the most power.
You have to biohack one part of your body.
All right, what part of your body do you biohack?
Which part of your body will give you the most power?
Keep these responses PG. Drop them in the YouTube comment section below.
Keep them PG. We're not China here.
All right, thank you. Once again, proving my point. YouTube comment section below. You can also tag us, hashtag Backspace Nomads on Twitter, and answer the question that way. We'll see you guys next week for episode 80 of the Backspace Nomads podcast. That's crazy. All right, see you guys later.